Are you new to becoming a grant writing unicorn and ready to dive in, but you don't know what you don't know? Today, I am breaking down the top 5 beginner mistakes that can cost you time, money, and more importantly, thousands, if not millions of dollars of lost grant funding. You want to make sure that you are not making these mistakes. Mistake number 1, not building relationships first. So this is probably the biggest mistake I see beginners make. A lot of grant writers, they just jump straight into submitting applications without first establishing any kind of relationship. Here's the truth. Funders want to invest in organizations they know, like, and trust. If you send them this cold, unsolicited grant proposal, your chances of success are much lower. Relationship building is key. I recommend that you reach out to a potential funder before you apply, introduce your nonprofit, and learn about their priorities. If you have a conversation, you're so much more likely to submit a proposal that aligns to their mission, and you'll be at the top of their mind when they are reviewing proposals. Remember, it's not just about applying for the grant. It's about making that funder feel like they know you and they trust your organization to be a steward of their funds. Number 2 is not being grant ready. Now, you can't apply for grants just because you want to. You need to have the right foundation in place. And a common mistake I see among the new nonprofits is thinking that basically I've got my 501c3 status, so I'm good, right? Yes, but you're probably lacking like a project plan, financial systems for reporting and managing funds, a team. And without these basic things in place, funders are not able to take you seriously. You need to show them that you have a structured organization that's capable of handling the money responsibly. I'm going to link up in the description below a video on how to get grant ready. Number 3 is goofing up the budget. And I've got a whole video on mastering grant budgeting, so I'm going to link that up too. But I want you to focus on the single biggest mistake to avoid when it comes to budgeting, and that is not balancing your budget between the costs and the cost share. Listen carefully. Often grants require you to provide match, also called cost share. And that's where the applicant, that's you're coming up with some of the cost for the project, because no funder wants to pay for 100% of your project with no skin in the game from you or others. And the trouble is you can't list an expense in this cost share tab and not include it elsewhere in your budget. Anything you list for cost share must be accounted for in the budget. Number 4 is not answering the grant narrative question clearly. If you have ever seen a grant application, you know that there are usually a lot of questions that you've got to answer. So for example, let's say that the grant application asks, how does this project align with your organization's overall mission and goals? You want to start your response with, our project, fill in the blank, aligns with the overall mission and goals by fill in the blank. I know this seems really elementary, but the trick to success with grant writing is seriously keeping your responses super, super clear, so the funder doesn't have to hunt for your reply. And a bonus tip here is to keep your sentences to 20 words or less. Truly, as short of sentences as possible supports that skim reading and ease of comprehension. Mistake number 5 is underestimating the time commitment and workload. Grant writing is not a 1-hour activity, even with AI at our side. It is a process that requires time, planning, and focus. Newbies often think they can just knock out a proposal in a few hours, but let me tell you, that is a recipe for disaster, or rather, being rejected. We don't want that. You need time. We need time to research funders, gather necessary documents, plan your project, create a solid budget, and refine your narrative. I recommend blocking out deep work and uninterrupted time on your calendar and stay organized with a project management tool. We love Asana for this. Trust me, being underprepared or rushing through the process will show in your application, and you're probably going to miss out on the funding. So let's quickly review the 5 mistakes we're covering today so you're not rejected. I need a stamp for approved. Do I have an approved stamp? Mistake number 1 is not building relationships first. Thank ya. We want to really get the organizations to get to know us. Number 2 is not being grant ready. We want to make sure our nonprofit has all of the documentation and systems in place we can to show that we are legit. 3 is goofing up the budget. We don't want to mix up cost share inside those project budget requirements. Number 4 is not answering the grant narrative questions clearly. I want you to be so direct, so concise, almost feels elementary, but giving enough detail to be very tangible and memorable. And finally, we are not going to underestimate the time commitment involved. Grant writing takes time, so we're going to plan ahead and stay organized, and then, let's see, we'll be approved. Approved, approved, approved. This is what I want for you, because this literally can symbolize thousands, if not millions of dollars in grant funding. Now that you know what mistakes to avoid, I want to help you get started on the right foot. If you want step-by-step guidance to become a world-class grant writing unicorn, consider joining us inside the Global Grant Writing Collective. I'm going to link up in the description below a training on how to get into it. If you're a beginner, and whether you're employed already in-house with the nonprofit, kind of thrown into it voluntold, or you're thinking about doing this as a side hustle to see if you like it. I'll see you on the inside.